Okay, how we doing, folks? Today is Tuesday, August 2nd, 2016. Kind of weird why I'm doing this video. We were seeing the things, they were comparing LeBron James to Michael Jordan, and for whatever reason that led my mind to think about something I have thought about before, so I'm going to do this video on it now. For those of you who watched, we did do a video you can check out about why I think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest player. Um, Above Michael Jordan. That's not what we're going to talk about here. What I want to talk about is actually Sam Bowie, who, for those of you who don't know, he was the number 2 overall pick in that draft right before Michael Jordan. And Sam Bowie is considered one of the greatest draft busts in NBA history, and basically only because of that he went before Michael Jordan. Sam Bowie had struggled with injuries. He played 10 years in the NBA. He had some respectable seasons. He was an all-rookie first team in 1986, 1987, his third year in the league, averaged 16 points, 6.6 rebounds, had a year with the Nets, 89-90, 14.7, 10 rebounds per game, had a year in 91-92, averaged 15 points, 8 rebounds per game. And what becomes Sam Bowie had a lot of injuries, was drafted by the Portland Trailblazers, played 511 games, and I want to compare that to someone else. Actually, let me just continue with Sam Bowie. He averaged 10.9 points per game, just over 5,500, 7.5 rebounds per game, almost 4,000 total. These are total rebounds, 5,500 total points, 4,000 total rebounds, and almost 2 blocks per game at 1.8, 909 blocks in his career. Now, I'm going to give you the numbers of someone else who was also drafted by the Portland Trailblazers and struggled with injuries. 6,215 career points, 13.3 rebounds per game. A little better, but not totally better. 4,923 rebounds, 10.5 rebounds per game, 2.2 blocks per game, just over 1,000. So the numbers better, but don't necessarily blow Sam Bowie away. The best career year, 18.9 points, 13.2. Did win an MVP with 18.6 and 14.4. Played less games than Sam Bowie, though, in 468 games in his career. And that is Bill Walton. Guy who also struggled with injuries, like we just said. Bill Walton's in the NBA Hall of Fame. Now, his numbers, yes, he did play a few less games, about 50 less games. His numbers a little bit better. The injuries really derailed him late in his career. That's where his numbers really tailed off. But you look at, just in the aggregate, the overall numbers, he does not blow, Sam Bowie away at all. So you're going to put a guy who, similar, better, but similar numbers in the Hall of Fame, often regarded as one of the best players in history. There are people who will tell you that Bill Walton, had he not been injured, may have been one of the top 10 best players in NBA history. And Sam Bowie is the biggest bust in NBA history. Again, it's just this hype with Michael Jordan that makes him, or people claim he's the best player in NBA history without looking at the facts at all. And it completely ruins a guy like Sam Bowie, whose numbers really were not that bad. Yes, struggled with injuries, but put together some very respectable seasons. And, his overall career numbers are comparable to Bill Walton's. Again, I'm not saying he's as good as Bill Walton. I clearly understand that Bill Walton, the injuries factored into it. But if you just look at, just looking at the numbers when all the careers are said and done, the difference is not, is just not great enough for them to have Sam Bowie up as the one of the biggest busts in NBA history. And there are plenty of other guys who are just not even close in comparison to being much bigger busts than Sam Bowie. Greg Oden, Kwame Brown, Michael Olowokandi, Emeka Okafor. The list goes on and on. Nikolai Shitzvili, or however you say that guy's name is, if you even remember him. Ike Diago, Anthony Bennett of late. So, it's one of those things where, all this hype with Michael Jordan, it's just another thing that goes and proves it. People will just say, "Oh, Michael Jordan's the greatest ever. Michael Jordan's the greatest ever. Michael Jordan's the greatest ever. Sam Bowie's the biggest bust because of this hype with Jordan." But no one ever bothers to look at all into it as far as where these guys are at and what exactly the facts that surround it, the numbers that surround it, and all this, that, and the other thing. So again, I got because I saw in Sports Center they were LeBron James made that statement about the ghosts he's chasing, this, that, and the other thing. For whatever reason, that took me to Sam Bowie, but I've recognized this before, that Sam Bowie really at the end of the day was far from a bust. Yes, struggled with injuries, but I mean, still put 10 NBA years, and played 511 games. We said so, only averaged 50 games in a year. We're gonna check. He had a year where he played 79. That year with New Jersey, 91-92, he averaged 15 points, 8 rebounds, played 71 games. The year he averaged 14.7 and 10.1, played 68 games. So, that number of 51 average games per season, when you look at it, he had one year where he only played 5, derailed by injuries, and another where he only played 20. That followed his second year in the league of 1985-86, where he only played 38 games. So really, you take that out, and in those years, he had one where he averaged 8.6 points. That year where he averaged 16, he only played 5 games. So we'd mentioned that earlier. I didn't even notice the game. So really take that out. But you look at that, if you take those numbers out, or those seasons out where he played 38, 5, and 20 games, 76 games played, 68, 62, 71 in a year he averaged 15 and 8, 68 where he averaged 14 and 7. Had a year where he averaged 14 and 7, 1.8 blocks. Remember, his rookie year averaged 2.7 blocks, started 76 games. But again, starting 76, 68 games played, 62 games played, 71 games played, 79 games played. His second to last year only played 25 games, and his last year played 67 games. So, you got to start thinking differently about Sam Bowie, and let's stop being unfair to him already. This guy he doesn't even deserve to be discussed. I mean, he's not a bust at all. He doesn't even deserve to be discussed in that category by any means. And there are plenty of other guys who we just listed. The Greg Odens, Emeka Okafors, Kwame Browns, Eddie Curry is another guy I didn't mention. Anthony Bennett. There are plenty of busts to go around that we don't need to be killing Sam Bowie just because he was drafted before Michael Jordan. That wasn't his fault. And like we said, when you compared it to Bill Walton, the numbers are actually quite similar. So, we're going to keep going with the YouTube channel as well. Going to give you the updates of the NFL when they come. So any other news, when that comes along, we'll be sure to break it to you. We got things coming out. We saw that thing with Tony Romo. So the picture with his weight. So we already see that there's already news from training camps. So and we'll see what we do with the Olympics when that comes around. So be sure to stay tuned, folks. We're getting, we had that little lull in July. So we'll keep it coming as soon as the sports scene starts to pick back up, coming back in with the Olympics, training camps, and then the start of the NFL season. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you all so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.